Fawn fam, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hey, what's up? My name is Tanya and thank you all so much for joining in and watching this video. As always, there will be timestamps listed down below so you can jump around, and if you love what you see, smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and thumbs this video up. I do try to post as regularly as possible with as many new releases, fresh content, new tutorials, new glowy products, contour, foundation, concealer, I mean you name it, we've got it. Product empties, favorites, everything, and you don't ever want to miss a beat because this community is amazing, and all you have to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and you are all set. Now, I ordered everything from the new Scott Barnes collection because, I mean, I love his brushes, I love his eyelashes, I tested out a bunch of his other products in prior videos. Some of them were hits and misses for me, and I knew that there was no way his highlights, contours, and blushes could be a miss. I was right, and I do show you guys the eyeshadow palettes when I'm doing the unboxing, but I did save the eyeshadow palettes. I'm gonna do obviously separate days where I swatch out one palette, do a look with it, swatch out another palette, and do a look with it. It was just that today I was so pressed for time, and I had to still do a look with the Vita palette from Melt with this half because I'd only used the other half, and I had this look in mind, which ended up taking way longer because I got so carried away with, like, I don't even know how many extra steps compared to what I had in mind. I took it way more glam than where I had envisioned it, but you know, I'm extra and more is more, and who was I kidding to think that I wasn't going to take it as glam as possible and as holiday as possible, even though I'm like always doing holiday year round. But these palettes do look beautiful, and I did play with and swatch. I swatched out all three of these palettes, but I did it in a way where like contour I swatched out, and then we did contour, and then I swatched out blush, and then we did blush, and then I swatched out highlight, and then we did highlight. So there's gonna be jumps in here. That way, if you guys only care about one of the palettes, two of the palettes, or all three, then it makes sense in the way that at least I apply my makeup, and I show you tips and tricks along the way as well. And there's a lot to break down as we're going through it. There's, like, you know, many reviews and first impressions and that kind of thing as well. But the two eyeshadow palettes do look beautiful. I want to say that right away, and I don't want to harp on that because that's during the unboxing, and that's not what this video is about. So I want to start, even though I want to start with highlight, I want to start with the order in which the video, you know, progresses, which is starting off with the contour and sculpting palette. Now, this goes for all palettes. I am really disappointed that so much time went into making these beautiful sleeves, and you're gonna see each sleeve. And then what he did was, when you take off the sleeve, he just has his name plastered across the palettes, which for me, I don't like that at all because, like, yes, Scott, we know you have an ego. We know you're the master. We know that you know everything about makeup, and you are like, we bow down to you. You are the master of the J-Lo glow, and you are like, you are large and in charge. We got it. But isn't this so much more elegant and beauty? And just like you want to display this, and so much time went into designing it, and his signature is still on here, but then all you have is this, and I'm like, that's not pretty. I don't want to display that. Like, I really don't. I want to display this. Like, I really want to display this. It's gorgeous. Now, what he did do for the 3 palettes for contour, blush, and highlight is change the color of his name. So contour is brown, the blush one is light pink, and the highlight one is like crazy, almost hollow or iridescent. So you can just like look at it and see that, you know, okay, that's the palette I'm grabbing. But you also can tell if he had this as the main packaging. So that's just being nitpicky with like preferential and packaging, but I just feel like it's the beauty industry. Why not make it as beautiful as possible? But at the end of the day, it is about formula, and the formula in all 3 palettes are so ridiculously amazing. Like above and beyond amazing. Now, it's cruelty free, which is awesome. I need a sip of water. I'm sorry, guys. I've been filming for hours and hours and hours and hours, and I have either like a head cold or allergies, so I'm like dehydrated too. But he has a really nice magnet. Like the palette itself is nice, and then every mirror has like a little saying under it. This one says, "Snatch that face." So I think that was really cute. But there's like gonna be negatives and positives. And I don't know how you guys want, like, it's gonna depend on obviously what you can handle. The first 2 ingredients are talc and mica in these, and I know it's not used for your eyes, but in case it causes irritation to your skin or anything, just beware. But what really deterred me is that I cannot use any of these palettes on a migraine day or a headache day, because you open up all 5 palettes and it is an overwhelming smell of paint thinner. Like, it just punches you in the face. And then I got Kurt to smell it. I closed the palette and then I'm like, here, open it up and smell it. And he smelled it, and actually, no, I didn't even get him to open it. So he had less of an impact of a bam in your face. I just gave it to him open, and he agreed with me that it smells like, you know, not as strong as, you know, if you had paint thinner right in your face, like almost like, you know, watered down paint thinner mixed with like nail polish remover. I don't get the nail polish remover because I'm around it all the time, but it really smells like chemicals and paint thinner to me big time. And that is, like I said, all 5 palettes, and it is strong. Now that is one negative. Well, second negative. Packaging is just kind of, you know, packaging, that's preferential. But now when we're talking about what's inside, is I don't understand the smell, why there's such a bad smell and why it's so strong. Like, I don't get it. And then the other thing is that this is a negative and a positive, depending. To me, this should have been broken down into at least 2 palettes, like, you know, fair light and then medium deep, because there's only 1 shade in here that works for me out of 8 shades, and that's Carve. When I was looking at it, I thought maybe Diced would also work, but I just using Carve, which, guys, swatching it, it looked like Hula from Benefit. It looked very light, but the good thing is, I'm going to be a little bit all over, is that these are pigmented AF. Like, I mean, so pigmented. Like, okay, pigmented. Like, you need to see this if you're gonna go in and start using them. But they're also super blendable, so keep that in mind. I did lay down quite a heavy base, and then I was able to blend and blend and blend and blend, but I didn't need to draw in my contour as heavily as I did. So thank God I didn't actually cream contour first like I usually do. And the other thing is I did bronze with this palette. It's funny, when you mix Sliced, which is that very like baby pukey diarrhea mustardy color that we love as a transition shade in our eyeshadow palettes. If you do mix Sliced and Carve together, you actually get a very close color to my Marc Jacobs Tantastic bronzer. 104, the Omega Bronze, the cool tone bronzer that I really love. So if I was in a pinch, I forgot my bronzer at home and I took this as my contour palette, I could, and I did today, I didn't even touch my bronzer, mix those two together, but oh my gosh, like it was so pigmented. And it took so much blending, so much diffusing, so much baking and cutting the edges. So, I mean, it took a lot of extra work, but I wanted to show you guys that you can make things work and that it is nice that if you do buy this and you're in a pinch with, you know, you brought a couple palettes with you, but like you needed that pukey baby mustard color, you have it in this palette. This is a very unique red undertone color, which is great for deep, darker skin tones for contouring, but it could also be an amazing eyeshadow color because we just don't see this in contour palettes. So, like, Sculpt is insanely dark. Like, I mean, to the point of almost being like a chocolate black. So that's why I'm saying I feel like this palette should have been at least 2. That way, as consumers, we're not spending as much money and we're not wasting as much product because we're never going to go through all these colors. Like, I am fair. I'm not even light. I sometimes am light in certain foundations and concealers, but generally I'm fair. So I'm not going to hit most of these. But the formula is just so good. It's creamy but silky, and it's just so intense but so unbelievably blendable. So when you see this in action, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. But like I said, it does have a lot of purposes if you need this kind of as an add-on to eyeshadow palettes too. But the talc and the mica are the first 2 ingredients. So it's going to depend on allergies, how your eyes react, and all of that too. And the smell makes me weary to want to put it around my eyes because it's just such a chemical punch to the face. So just something to keep in mind, but it is great for contouring, and hopefully in the future at least he'll come out with you know, at least smaller contour palettes or individual pan sizes or something like that, because I really did enjoy the 1 shade for contouring, and I really wouldn't want to have to mess with the 2 shades for bronzing unless I absolutely had to. I would rather stick with my Marc Jacobs bronzer. Then the blush. Look how beautiful this sleeve is. Like, I want to display this, but again, talc and mica are the first 2 ingredients. Now this one is cute because it's soft pink, but still, this is really chic. Now you actually only get 6 blushes, and this says my colors are blush and bashful on the mirror, and you get a bonus of 2 highlighters, and this highlighter is, oh my gosh, beaming. I had to use this. I used, oh my, I don't even know, like 4 highlighters, I think, in total. This one is a very much a peachy, more subtle highlight. It's like the most subtle highlight out of all of them. So if you buy the highlight palette and the blush palette, you're actually getting 10 highlighters from him. They are different colors. They are not duplicates. And you see how it's like around in gold, but this one is beaming, blinding, beautiful. Oh my gosh. And then for my blush, I actually mixed all 3 from the top row because I knew that I was going to be doing some kind of a sunsetty eye look, and I probably could have actually dabbled with sweet cheeks as well, but the blushes are super pigmented. You don't need a lot. A little goes a long way, but they are so beautiful. The colors in here are just so spot on for a palette. Aside from, again, that smell, I really highly recommend this palette too, and aside from the packaging, which is such a bummer to me, but these blushes are some of my favorite, and I can see myself reaching for this time and time again, and just being super bummed that he chose to go with his name over the sleeve when the sleeve has his name on it anyway. Now, the Glowy and Showy. Look how fun this is. Like, see, I wish this was also the packaging. This one is at least a little bit more fun because he did this with his name. So this one I can get behind a little bit more, but still, this is like way more fun. So again, Scott, why? Like, why? But mica is the first ingredient in this. I don't see talc in here, so sorry. When I said across the board for the 3 palettes, it's the first 2, but mica is still in this one. Now this, look lit from within. This is beaming from outer space. And yeah, my eye is super leaky, so please ignore that. It's been running like crazy. I've had to redo it like over 10 times today. It's one of those days where it's pouring and pouring and pouring. But this is insanity in the best way possible, in every way that I love, and these shades are, I mean, look at them in the pan. That doesn't happen very often. We're in the pan. It's blinding. I honestly don't know if you could even get a subtle glow out of this. I didn't try. I just, you know, went in the way I usually highlight. But like I said, I used the one from the blush palette, and then I put, this is called Pink Crush, but it is just a pure white icy highlight. I put that in the inner corner. I did end up mixing a little bit of Twilight Sand in the end as well, because this isn't icy, it's so warm, but I wanted that brightness. But I had laid down Twilight Sand all over my cheeks and like everywhere. And then I took Golden Glow and just did a little spotlight with it. Yeah, so I used 4 highlights altogether. The Pinkaboo is honestly the most beautiful pink highlight I have ever seen in my life. And across the board, you have, like, I'll never be able to use Bronzerella or Easy Glowing, but for deeper skin tones, oh my gosh, you guys are gonna be just glowing, beautiful goddesses with these shades. And same with Golden Glow. Like, I could barely use Golden Glow. It's not appropriate for me, but I just wanted to use it. So those 3 shades are just gonna be everything on darker skin tones. Like, But all of these shades are just delicious. They are beautiful. He just hit a home run. It still has the smell issue, so keep that in mind. But aside from that smell issue, it is a very silky formula. Like, it's super buttery and creamy, but you touch it and it's just like this finely milled silk powder. And when you swatch it, it's just so smooth. When you're applying it, it's smooth. It's not like powdery or anything. Like, it just, it is beautiful. So I highly recommend all three of these palettes if that's what you're kind of in the market for. If you're somebody who doesn't like to buy a contour palette because you do only use one specific shade, then just pass on the contour. But the blush and the highlight, as long as you're not like somebody faint of heart for highlight, get on the highlight as well. But I love it, and like I said, wait for the unboxing because the two eyeshadow palettes really do look amazing. I just realized that I forgot to tell you guys that my lip combo has since changed from when I told you guys my lip combo last. It is still the same Pat McGrath Perma gel liner in Buff, but I did go back in with my Huda Beauty liquid lipstick. I have found my love affair again for my Huda Beauty liquid lips. I just totally got out of liquid lips, I think because I had so many bad formula after bad formula after bad formula, even though I always loved Huda Beauties. So I popped on Bombshell, and then I went over it with, this was from the collection Charlotte Tilbury's Hot Lips 2, like the big collection, and this is Glowing Gen. The shades are almost identical. This deepened it up a little bit and added the perfect amount of moisture and like a little bit more plumpness, and I thought it was perfect. And then I barely dotted on Inglot Sleeks number 30. These are amazing. They smell like candy. You can buy it from Beautylish or Inglot directly. So I just thought I should throw that in there because I did tell you guys my lip combo during this video and it is different now. So if you guys want to see swatches of everything and then a demo of the other three palettes, then just keep on watching. Alright, I am so excited to get into these Scott Barnes palettes. I've had them for a week and it's been driving me literally mental. I have been just wanting to film since the day they arrived, which has been a week, and then my family arrived and I couldn't, and then I just crashed hard when they left. I mean, it was Thanksgiving and everything was chaotic, and then my dog Luby was so sick, and then that made me crash hard. I mean, it was more the reverse order, but it was like everything just happened where I couldn't, and I'm like, oh my god, I just want to film the Scott Barnes. I just want to know what the contour's like, what is highlight, the highlight, oh my god, I am dying. I'm dying for the highlights. And then there's blushes, there's two eyeshadow palettes. Guys, I got it all. So there is the Color Bomb #1 eyeshadow palette and the Snatural #1 eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna save the eyeshadow palettes for another day because Kurt and I need to film the giveaway winners tonight, and these palettes are quite big and I'd have a lot of swatching to do, a lot of trying to make up my mind. So I'm just gonna stick with the other Melt Cosmetics palette, you know how they came in two with the skull, and do a look with that palette because I know you guys really want me to do a look with it, and at least it's a smaller color story. So, and I kind of have an idea, even though my ideas always get away from me, but we are gonna put together, we're gonna do the contour, the glowy, okay, sculpting and contour #1. So I didn't even do any cream contour, just so we can fully test out these powders. The Glowy and Showy #1 highlighter palette, I live for highlights, and the Chic #1 blush palette. We're gonna put all 3 of those babies to the test, but I'm still gonna open up the eyeshadow palettes and show you what they look like because I cannot wait. So that is what these babies are. Now, my lip combo, everybody always wants to know, it's a lot. I lined my lips with the Pat McGrath Perma Gel Ultra Lip Pencil in Buff. I have just like random lipsticks and lip glosses, like, I mean, boom, 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 Pat McGrath, Wall, and Charlotte Tilbury, Tom Ford, YSL, all that back there, like they're everywhere. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna try this MAC one out. I'd never tried it. It is the number 324 Skew Frost lipstick. I don't see any frostiness really, but it was like a perfect match to that Pat McGrath liner, which was crazy. And I didn't color it in. I left it so it was like a more bold, like, pucker. I just felt like having bigger lips, so I overdrew it and then didn't color it in. And then I put the Tom Ford Lip Spark number 3 Thrust. Nope. This one? Yeah, this one. So, never mind. The Tom Ford Lip Spark Extreme 02 Surge. Now, I put it obviously over top of my lipstick, so but it's sparkly, so the sparkle is in the middle. And then I was like, you know what, I just feel like I want to add a little gloss. So I took the Becca Cosmetics Glow Gloss, and this is in Champagne Crème, and just dabbed a little bit in the center. So yeah, there's 4 things going on my lips, but that's what I did. So this is how his packaging comes. Large and in charge, just like he is. I would expect nothing less. And there's no way to like sneak peek, so we are doing this, like, it doesn't separate. We're doing this together. So we're gonna just, I don't even know what is what. We're just going for it. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. This is contour palettes. All right, so you can, I'm so like overtired and insane right now, and things are going everywhere, but that's fine. Okay, Sculpting. Oh, this is sexy. Look at that. Okay. But yes, honey. And he signed it. I like it. This is what the back looks like. So you get, it's cruelty free. Thank you, Scott. There is talc and mica in here, just so you guys are aware, but at least it's not going around your eyes. And the total net weight is 24.8 grams. Let's see what this sleeve looks like. I mean, the actual packaging. See, that makes me sad. I hate when companies do that, because to me the sleeve is way more sexy than the actual packaging, but it is what it is. I like the magnet and how it opens. Ooh, these are large pans. I already think I'm gonna be going for carve or diced. I will swatch them out. They actually smell chemically. Whew! I wasn't expecting that. It says snatch that face in the mirror. I think that's super cute. But that's a strong, like, paint smell. Like, whew. But damn, this sleeve is so much cooler. I am really bummed about that. Damn it, Scott. I'm not going to do that to you guys when I have certain things. I like continuity. I'm just saying. All right, getting into this one, but the palette still looks beautiful and the shades still look beautiful. Oh, this is in this packet, so if I have to double check the other one. These are lethal for pets. You never want your dogs or even cats, any pet getting into this. This can literally kill them, but that's not what I'm smelling. Oh my god, this is so cute. This is one of the eyeshadow palettes. I don't know which one yet, but look how cute that is. Seriously. Oh my god, like he killed it on these sleeves. This just says eyeshadow palette. Let's see if it says what one. Eyeshadow palette. And he just wrote his name on here again. Why? This print is so much cuter. Like, Scott, we got it. We know you have an ego. We know you're huge. We know that you're like, you're famous because of J-Lo. We know it, okay? Give us cute packaging, please. I would much prefer this than your name. I bought it because of you. I know this is you, but I want this. I don't want this, and your name is still on here. Ooh, this is sexy. Be the most beautiful version of yourself. But this smells, you guys, like it really does smell. It's beautiful and I want to work with it. And oh my gosh, those foils and everything. Oh. So you get 20 amazing shades of at least 2 formulas. I mean, there's matte and metallic for sure. I can't tell if there's a satin or not, but you do get 2. But this is weird. Oh, there we go. This is the Snatural #1. That's where it's written. I am just... I hate when companies kill it on the sleeve. Like, I have to keep it in the sleeve because, I mean, it's just so much better. Scott, I got it, okay? Okay. Glowy and showy! Oh my god! And I bet you that that's not at all what the palette's gonna look like. I mean, he changed it. It's cool. I'll give him that. This one's a lot cooler than the other ones. But, come on. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Guys. Oh, it smells so bad. It's almost like paint thinner. I think that's what it smells like. I don't know why it smells so bad, but oh, this is like... Let's do a pink. Oh, let's do a champagne. I always have to do a champagne. Oh, I still have foundation on the back of my hand. Whoopsie. Oh my god, this is like silk. This is such a smooth... Whoa! This formula is ridiculously smooth. If any texture show... What? This is insane. This is a wet highlighter. Oh, we are going to be dripping in highlight. Are you kidding me? This is gonna like have to come with me everywhere I go, anywhere ever. Holy cow, I don't even know what to say about... Oh. Okay. Alright, I paused it just in time because I heard the hubby coming home. We have two more to unbox. One's going to be the eyeshadow palette, another eyeshadow palette, and one's going to be the blush palette. And I asked him to take a sniff, and he agrees it's kind of like a paint thinner, just not as strong as like actual paint thinner, but he smelled it and he was like, whew! And to him it was a little bit of nail polish remover. I don't get the nail polish remover because I'm always in salons, but he has like that combination to him. And again, scent is personal to everybody, but like guys, these smell bad. I do want you to know that. All right, so this is the, must be the color, yeah, pigment palette, which again, I'm sure is gonna become boring. Why? Like, Scott, I know you have an ego, but why? Why? This is so cool. You killed it with the sleeve. Oh my God, this looks so cool. Like, this looks like it might have more finishes because it almost has, to me, like matte, satin, and metallic. This one looks really awesome. I could have a lot of fun with this, but I am gonna save the palettes maybe for the next couple tutorials because I'll have time to swatch out all 20 of the 2 palettes. Well, I'll do 1 palette at a time in each video, and then really have time to play, where today I'm more on a time crunch. So every single bag has those dangerous little, well, whatever they're called that I just showed you, that you want to absolutely make sure you don't get caught up in excitement with the highlights or contour or blush. These little things, if you plan on keeping the bag, dispose of these silica packets no matter what you do. Don't get caught up. And then, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. The Chic palette. So much effort went into designing these sleeves. Like, they're gorgeous. This is talc and mica in it as the first 2 ingredients as well. And I mean, at least he made his name soft pink, which is pretty. So you can tell these palettes apart easily. Like, he did do that. You know, this is clearly contour. This is highlight. Pink is blush. So it's nice that you can tell the palettes apart by not having to like open them up. So I appreciate that he changed his name up on these ones, and then on the other eyeshadow palettes it tells you, I mean, just like it does on here, it does tell you what each palette is. So it does say that on the eyeshadow palettes. So he did do it in a smart way, since he needed to have his name so large and in charge. But this also lets you know what the palette is while maintaining beauty and having his signature, which I think is so much prettier. So one more. Oh, this is gonna be the best highlight of my life. So beautiful. Now I'm gonna get to swatching the contour palette. And then I'm thinking maybe swatch the contour, apply the contour, get rid of that, swatch the blush, show you guys the blush, apply the blush, and then highlight. Like, I'm thinking maybe that's the best way to go about this because there are so many shades. So that's what my plan will be, and then I'll have jumps for contour, blush, highlight, and obviously the unboxing. So I'm gonna start doing that and I will be right back. All right, here is the palette up close. You do get a lot of nice shades. The formula is very different. It is beautiful. The powders are very creamy, but they're also very silky, and they are so smooth. There is zero patchiness. They blend out like a dream when you're putting it on a swatch, at least. And I think that this is going to be an amazing contour palette. Now, I do have some pros and cons right off the bat from looking at the shades, which I will go over when we're looking at the arm swatches. As you can see, there's a beautiful variety, but not everybody can use these shades per skin tone, you know what I mean? So I feel like this palette should have been broken up into at least 2, if not 3 palettes. I don't see a use for the average person using this palette. I wish he would have separated it, because I think the formula is going to be so beautiful that most people are going to want it, but just not have a need for it. Now, the upside to that is that there are some beautiful shades like this mustardy colored. All day long can be such an amazing transition shade, and if you are like me and you contour no matter what, daily basis, going to work, going out for a coffee, doctor's appointment, filming, whatever it is, you're gonna have the palette out anyway. So this would be an amazing transition shade. This reddish shade you just don't see very often, and that being so pigmented, so smooth and blendable is going to be awesome. Using this to deepen up any kind of eyeshadow look on your lower lash line, anywhere like that. So you can definitely find purpose to using all of these shades. You're not ever going to hit pan, because these pan sizes are huge, but there is definitely a purpose to all of these colors. You can utilize them, just not for contour, because you're kind of, to my understanding, most skin tones are going to be covered in here because of the reddish shade, the yellowish undertones. I mean, I can use these 2 for my contour. I'm wondering if I can kind of mix a little bit for actually using it as a bronzer in here as well, instead of going to my Marc Jacobs. We might play with that too, I don't know. So we have the first row, there are 8 shades. We have Chiseled, Sculpt, Frame, Carve, first row. This is like such a nice, light, cool undertone that I was immediately drawn to this in the pan, and then when I swatched it, I loved it. Then we have hashtag Shade, Diced, that's the other one that I'm thinking I could possibly use to deepen up my contour. And then Sliced is that like baby pukey diarrhea color, mustardy color, but that is an amazing transition shade, it just is. And then Snatched. Now don't go using the contour shades by the names for your contour. Go by the shades for your contour, or you're gonna be a mess. Like if you went by Snatched, thinking that that's gonna snatch you, or Sculpt, thinking that shade is what you need to use to sculpt yourself, and you are fair or light, you're gonna get yourself into trouble because it's so dark. So he named them and he had fun with them, but he did not name them for use. So just keep that in mind. All right, I threw my Marc Jacobs down here that I use for actual bronzing, and it does not match any of the colors. So what I did was I did in fact take the yellow shade mixed with that shade, so Carve and Sliced, and look how crazy that is. So this is Carve and Sliced mixed together, and that's my Marc Jacobs. And they're not an exact match, but they are pretty damn close. So I feel like if you were in a pinch and you are like me and you go for a cool tone bronzer, you could make it work. That's pretty crazy, just by color coding those 2 and mixing them up, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to first go in with Carve on my Luxie 130 brush. Scott Barnes, I love you for your eye brushes, all of your eyeshadow brushes. I'm not the biggest fan of the face brushes, so They're not going to be featured here, but they will be featured in the eye brushes. And start with this shade. Yeah, this is pigmented. So I might not even need the darker shade. That's kind of why I wanted to start here first. That's crazy. Taking my Sigma airbrush blender F63, I'm still sticking in Carve. Now, if you really want to make your lips even poutier, aside from overlining it, you can take a brush like so. This is my Wayne Goss number 21. And you can put it in cream contour and then line your entire lips, or you could put it in powder contour and then do the same thing. But I already have lip product on, so it's not gonna work, but I'm gonna add a little bit of poutiness. I'm on so many cold meds and Zyrtec and just like, I actually have like dry mouth. And then just blend her out. That'll give the illusion of an even poutier lower lip. And then because I don't actually need to like contour my forehead, but I do want to keep the consistency of the color, I'm gonna take this long comb fan brush and just ever so lightly, I'm barely touching the skin, work that in. Now taking my Sonia G Face 2 brush, I'm going to dip it back into Carve, go under the chin, help disguise any extra weight from Thanksgiving, any bloatedness, all of that goodness. And now I'm going to start blending. And then we're going to clean up any excess contour with like a translucent powder and bake it a little bit afterwards. This is blending out beautifully. Formula is very, very nice. Can almost blend it away. It blends so beautifully. So look at that blend, which is still pretty intense, but we're gonna blend it out further when we bronze. And then that's where we started. And I was gonna go with the darker color. Whew. This is what I mean about how this palette should have been divided into, at a minimum, 2 color schemes, if not more. All right, we're gonna get crazy and attempt to bronze with this palette, which could turn into a disaster, but I do wanna see on a pinch if we can make this duo happen. So I'm gonna take my Pat McGrath Labs setting powder brush and do a dip into Sliced, kind of coat it well, because that's gonna give it more of that undertone. And then I'm gonna dab it, and then I'm gonna completely coat it in Carve. Then I'm gonna dab it. Oh my god, I'm scared. We need a little bit more Carve. Repeat the steps. Oh, that's pigmented. Okay, well, I guess I'll finish doing what I'm doing. Don't worry, we're gonna clean this up, I know. Okay, we need to blend and diffuse. Holy cow. I don't usually even put bronzer on my nose, but we need to tie that in today. This is a Sephora Stippling number 44 brush. So just be aware that these are extremely pigmented, both for contouring and if you're gonna go in for bronzing. But you're gonna get the job done. You're just gonna have to be careful and take a little extra time and not panic and know that you're gonna get it done. And we're gonna clean this up too. You know, it's looking very airbrushed though. I know it's a lot, but so far it's a lot in a good way. Because I know where we're going with it. See how much diffuser is needed in the makeup world? It's like a magic eraser, but it blends. It doesn't just like, it's not like it's an eraser. It blends flawlessly and so airbrushed. But we're not done yet. All right, now before we carve and clean up, we do need to blush first. Highlight doesn't matter. So I need to clean off these swatches and then swatch out the blush palette and then be back, blush up, and then carve and clean up even further. This mirror says my colors are blush and bashful. Now I didn't realize when I first opened it, you get 6 blushes and 2 extra highlights. So if you order the highlight palette, you're going to have 8 highlights, and then if you get this palette, you're actually going to have 10 highlights. And the highlight formula is beautiful. I know for sure this one is not a repeat shade. I won't know for sure if this champagne is a repeat shade until we swatch the highlight shades. But these blushes are also just so beautiful. They're pigmented and just silky. The powders are unreal and just smooth and beautiful. But again, I open the palette. Every single one of these palettes, I open it and that paint thinner smell punches me in the face. Like, I think I'm gonna have a headache by the end of filming videos with Scott Barnes products because it is so strong. That part is really disappointing because the products themselves are outstanding. Like, look at that highlight. Like, seriously, I mean, that's champagne, and this is the other highlight, so it's peachy, it's not as blinding, but just, oh my god. All right, so it just says glowy and showy for the highlights, and they both begin a row. So that's first row, and then blush. So we have minimalist, such a beautiful nude. It's kind of like a satin nude, demi-matte. And then we have Mango Fizz, I love, that's a straight up matte. And then Strike a Rose, again, that's kind of like a demi-matte satin blush. I'm kind of thinking I'm just gonna swirl my brush through all 3 because of the eye look, that the color story that I'm going with for my eye look. And then I might come back in later on and just hit it with this shade. I don't know. This might be so much blush that it's enough. I can't stop staring at this. I am drooling. Holy cow. And then second row, again, glowy and showy. We don't know the colors. And I don't know if that was done on purpose or what. It's also, they're both outlined in gold, if you guys didn't catch that in the close-up palette. And then we have Sweet Cheeks, which is just, no, it's like all 3 of these are kind of like a demi-matte, satiny matte. None of them are as matte as Mango Fizz. And then Rosé, so pretty, and Crush and Blush, that's also beautiful. I love all of these shades, so let's get to playing. In reality, it's like one step closer to highlight. So taking my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Flawless Airbrush Blush, I'm just gonna go boom. See, they're very powdery, but they're not like, it's amazing. Like, they're so smooth and just blendable and airbrush-like. It's just, it's such a weird formula, but the smell, like, I can't figure it out. It's just, it's so different from anything I've ever tried, which is so saying a lot. But I always start back here in case there's a ton of pigment. These are pigmented too. Now I'm just gonna dab, dab, dab. So is so much blush. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go back in to that other color later. Whew. That one highlight, I'm like, can I play? Can I play? Can I play? Now first, I'm going to take some Fix Plus. Because, oh my gosh, we need it. It's dripping everywhere into my eyeballs. That much powder, it's time for. Okay, that's gonna take a minute, so I'll be right back. This is hilarious. The mirror says, "Look lit from within, Scott Barnes." There is no way. I mean, we haven't played with it yet, but based on the swatches, I don't think there's any way you can look lit from within with this palette. I guess it's possible with a very subtle hand, dabbing off the brush big time, but I don't like to look lit with from within, so I'm all about this palette. So we're gonna. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. This is like the most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen, and it's all in one palette, and it's oh my god, jaw dropping, jaw drooling. Oh my gosh. Okay, you want to see swatches? Let's get to swatches. Oh, look at these highlights. All right, so these are all 8 from the actual highlight palette plus the 2 from the blush palette, and there are no crossovers. So if you actually want all 10 of his shades, you do need to buy the blush palette as well, but you won't regret getting the blush palette anyway because it is so beautiful. So I did leave the first swatch from the blush palette on me to see if it would dupe in here, and it doesn't. It has more of a taupe kind of champagne to it because we have a true champagne in here. This is kind of a taupey undertone champagne, so they are different. And then I re-swatched that like peachy, fizzy, oh my god, highlight color. I'm sorry guys, it's late. I'm gonna have to go have a snack after we're done with this portion before I get into the eye tutorial. And then everything in between are from the actual highlighting palette. But I did want you to see all 10 of his shades. So then this actually begins his palette. So we have Pink Crush, which to me is more of just a flat out white highlight. I don't see any pink in there, but it is freaking beautiful, and that will light up your inner corner, your brow bone. I mean, spotlight your cheekbone. It's just gonna be stunning. Then we have Pink Abu. This is probably the most beautiful pink highlight I have ever seen. Like, I'm just trying to think about my collection, which is ridiculous. And I really think that this is the prettiest, iciest pink I have ever seen. And then we have Candlelight. This is like a true taupey highlight. It is so beautiful. And then Bronze Arella. I couldn't really use this for anything other than potentially an eyeshadow, but for deeper skin tones, holy cow, this is stunning. Any deeper skin tones, you guys need this. And then the second row, Sugar Rush. This is like an in-between of a soft pink with kind of like an undertone of a champagne, but more of a soft champagne pink is how I would describe it. Then Easy Glowing, again for deeper skin tones. Oh my gosh. Then Twilight Sand, to me, is a true champagne. I am dying. Then we have Golden Glow. That one would be so beautiful on like medium skin tones. I think deeper could get away with it. I think I could play with it. It just wouldn't be as beautiful as it would be on, you know, medium, deeper, darker skin tones. And then that was from the blush palette. So we need to get to highlighting because I have been waiting for this moment my whole life. No, I've been waiting for this moment since Scott Barnes was creating lashes and then brushes. And I'm like, when are you gonna give us J-Lo glow? And he finally has delivered that to the public, and I am oh so grateful. Now I do have one step to do before we get to highlighting. First of all, see how just putting Fix Plus down took away a lot of that powdery look and helped a lot. And the diffuser brush helped a lot. So now I'm going to take my ABH translucent powder and we're just going to clean up all of that mess that got left behind, and I'm going to use two brushes. First I'm going to take my Esum T39 and we're going to give her a nice sharp edge. And then I'm going to take my Moda Pro chisel brush to get the rest of the way. I don't always go this far down, but when I was blending, the powder blended so easily that it went up a little bit too high when I was doing my jawline. So I do need to clean that up. Otherwise, I usually like to leave a space to leave it a little bit more chiseled, but I just don't really have a choice with how the powder went today, unfortunately. All right, taking my Ray Morris Deluxe Kabuki #1 brush, we are gonna go into Twilight Sand and just go ham with that baby first. And we're not dabbing off because you guys know I live for the glow. Okay, yeah, lit from within. Yep, totally. Taking my Sonia G Sculpt 3. Oh my god. We can... That's like really intense. Oh my god. Yeah, about that. And now taking my Sonia G mini booster. That highlight is so intense on my forehead, like I actually do need to like tone it down a little bit. Let's just take Pink Crush, the first one, the super icy one, and pop it in the inner corner. Brighten everything up in there. Maybe I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna take Golden Glow, the last shade in here, and pop that under my brow bone. I think that'll look really pretty with the eye look that I'm gonna do. I know it's looking all crazy right now, but things will come together. And you guys know me, I like to work my highlight always into my eyeshadow too. I don't like to just highlight the brow bone. I'm all about more highlight, not just like there. What are we gonna do for spotlight? I don't know. I think I'm gonna go into the blush palette and test out this one that's unnamed, the first baby. Taking my Sonia G Sculpt 3. And then I'm gonna still take that same shade and pop a little bit of it up in here. Kind of mix them. Okay. Oh. This is not lit from within at all. Okay, kick off this bake. Isn't that like the wettest highlight ever? It's insane. And I haven't even said it yet. Okay, let me quickly fix plus this and then I will show you the final result and how the contour is all cleaned up and how there was nothing to worry about in the end. Alright, this is all set with Fix Plus. It's all cleaned up. Look at this glow. This is just beautiful. It is so glowy and wet looking. The pigmentation, the silkiness, it is so beautiful. There is no lit from within happening. This can be seen from outer space, okay? And I love every bit of it. All right, so that does it for this video. I love all three palettes that we worked with, aside from the smell and the fact that the sleeves are way prettier, but I do appreciate the fact that he took the time to change the colors on the outside. But like I said, I want sleeves, but it's his brand and he can do what he wants with his brand. But the formulas are spectacular, and I hope that he eventually releases singles or quads or trios or something to that effect, so that way you don't have to spend so much money on shades that you're not going to use, or you can pick more specific shades or something to that effect, because it is a really beautiful formula. So that does it for this video, and until next time, good night, good morning, wherever you are. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.